first annual Golden State Comic Con gets underway this weekend at the U.S. Grant Hotel. Artist Shel Dorf says he hopes to make this event an annual thing.
Will this be open to the public?
Yes, and this is a chance for the amateur fan and the amateur writer to really meet with the professionals and find the magic secret of how it's done.
Natalie Best asked Dorf if he expects a large gathering.
Hoping for about 500.
Welcome to Comic-Con.
Die-hard Comic-Con conventioner is a person who is got the card games, they've dressed up, they go to masquerade, they've got the backpack filled with like strange die that they roll with, a strange book that's got their character chart in there. And Daredevil number 51, check. Daredevil 52, very fine, near mint, almost there, must continue perusing, check. Mixed in with like, dang, what is this? That's weird. No, what? No, I don't understand it. That's what it is now. It's people who've never read a comic book and people who've like never left their mom's basement, like mixed together.
I work at a sci-fi horror fantasy themed bar.
Like Black Cat, I don't think she could win a conflict with Longshot because bad luck to Longshot, his power would temper her power by saying like he would take a couple punches to the gut, but he would still come out on top.
No matter what, they would end up screwing.
Of course, it would end up being a sex fight. Of course, yeah, that's the way it works.
Being a geek is what defines me, I think, as a person.
I'm driving to Comic-Con in the morning. Finally got my portfolio done today.
Oh, good.
And I'm kind of like, I'm cranking it out. I finished it. Whether I like it or not, it's done.
Oh, then too unnecessary luck.
Too unnecessary. Harvey P.
I read comics every day as a kid. I was obsessed with it. I still am. And now I want to be a part of this like fabric of something that I grew up on that I love. I just want to be able to make a contribution to the culture that I find so self-defining. Hi guys, come on in, yay! My parents are uber geeks. That's my birth announcement, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
See the Star Trek symbol?
They met at the planning committee for the first Star Trek convention in Kansas City in 1976. They are the reason that there were Star Trek conventions in the Midwest in that era.
Do you believe that? This is the convention we got engaged at. So are you ready?
I've got stuff. Comic-Con is like basically a job fair for comic book industries. I am obsessed with comic books. I really, really want to do this so badly. I want to do it so badly. Some of the stuff I've already gotten done. I haven't put it in my actual binder yet, so you can sort of look through them. But I try to be diverse. I try to show character design. I try to show panels, pages. That's
Obama?
It's H.P. Lovecraft. No, that's not Barack Obama. What are you talking?
It looks like Obama.
All right, well, that's not in the portfolio then. Oh, it kind of does kind of look like Barack Obama. If Comic-Con goes the way that my fanboy fantasies plan out, best case scenario would be getting a good review, getting networked, getting someone to notice and someone to want to help me get into the industry. Worst case scenario is that they de-pants me in front of everyone and set my stuff on fire. but I bring more passion and excitement to it than any of those nervous kids with their portfolios, because I mean it. Because I mean it.
I want to draw from the time the sun comes up to the time it goes down. It seems like I'm the oddball in a world of very normal people. But when I dream about like going to a place like Comic-Con, it's got to be like Nirvana. It's got to be the closest thing there is to heaven, because other people there are just as much of a nerd as I am. Did you know where Daddy's going? No. No? I'm going to California. You know where that is?
No.
Of course not. I barely know where it is, but I got to go to a comic convention so Daddy can show his drawings to people. And then maybe they'll let Daddy draw Superman.
That is all with you.
No, I have to go by myself.
It's crazy because it's going to be thousands of people and one little old him. He's got to push his way through these people to meet some people he don't know, to get people to look at his work. And I think that's kind of bold.
I think it's going to be scary in a lot of ways, just because of who I am as a person and not really being accustomed to huge venues of people, large cities. But I've got to go because this is what I want to do with my life.
I've brought people who've never been to the con and seen the look on their face that was on my face, which is my tribe. I have found my tribe. Like, it is a time when these people can express themselves in a totally safe environment, and it doesn't matter what they're a fan of. Somebody, you know, who loves Star Wars is going to be hanging out with somebody who loves Final Fantasy, and they're going to get along just fine. It's not going to be a big argument about my thing's better. This is really the place where they can lay down their arms and come together and just be like, are we not dope? Are we not amazing for being this obsessed with something?
This is not a pleasant town. It's just where people stop to go to the bathroom before they go skiing. Like, no one wants to come here. There's Mentone over there, which is like the meth capital of the world. And easily, I'm sure my neighbors think that I'm making meth. They're like, that girl, she's a druggie. I saw her outside looking really tired and wearing weird clothes. I think she's a meth addict. But actually, it's just because I make costumes in my garage, so. Me and my whole team working on costumes based off of the computer game Mass Effect 2. Commander Shepard is the lead, and that's the role that I'm going to be playing at Comic-Con on stage in the Masquerade. All of my friends, we all love computer games. It makes you feel like you're in another world completely. I want to take the characters from the games and make them into a reality and have people really experience seeing something that could be in a movie, like on the Comic-Con floor. I think we can totally do a tongue in there, too.
Yeah, it definitely needs a tongue for the roof of the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
If you keep that sort of clear, that's another area that he could look through. Probably really important once we could see where his feet are going.
Yeah, definitely.
Open the mouth again.
Oh, wow. Grunt's been kind of a hard character to build because the head is completely animatronic. His mouth is entirely puppeteered by Tank. When he opens his mouth, the Krogan's mouth opens, because that's how it's hinged to his jaw and the underworkings of the skull.
We can do a little test.
Oh, no! I'm definitely worried about something falling apart and it just being a laughing stock, because, you know, you can only stick so many pieces on there and not have something fall off. Like a couple years ago, there was an Iron Man costume that was fabulous. They did their skit in the Masquerade and the guy's crotch plate just flies off. Like during the skit. And I'm like, oh man, I mean, like, I'm gonna make sure that crotch plate is super secure because no one's crotch plate is falling off on stage. All right, you know the drill.
There.
Yay, there you go. The Masquerade is a great place for exposure, and it's a big chance for me to get myself out there and have people see my work. Instead of just sitting here and, you know, applying places with resumes, I decided to make giant costumes and hope that I could get people's attention with it. Okay, get over there. It's about doing something insane and taking all your chances, spending all your money, getting all your friends together, and making this crazy team of people, just like in Mass Effect, and going on a suicide mission. We need to finish this before we get through. And that's what this is. It's like a metaphorical suicide mission for my future. Was I doing my things good?
Yeah, your movements look great.
Yeah, I've been practicing them alone in my room.
Comic-Con is like a mainstream event. This thing is like Cannes. It's like Sundance, you know? It's like the Olympics, except it happens every year. Everybody knows about it. My mother's like, you going to Comic-Con? Like, how do you know about Comic-Con? You're not supposed to know about Comic-Con. There is somewhere buried in this gigantic monolith of the celebration of the popular arts, as they say, is a very cool comic book convention that a lot of us have been going to for many, many years. You just have to kind of dig through the con a bit more to find it now.
Now, actually, one thing you have to understand is that if you really want to show people that you're a real comics dealer, you have to huff in front of them.
Let's see. These have that really great flavor, the aroma.
Go to the centerfold. You
Smell it.
never touch it with your nose because you don't want to get the oils from your nose on the paper. But you get as close as you can, and then you breathe in deeply. And if you can actually appear like you know what you're doing, all the comic boys, all the geeks, like you'll go up like 8 notches. Magic Boy and Robot Elf. Let's actually take a couple extra things. I make the claim that we're America's largest comic dealer simply on the basis that we have 8 million comics and we service more customers than anyone else. I've gone to Comic-Con 38 straight years, and I am one of the last survivors. I feel very much differently about this year's Comic-Con than other Comic-Cons because I've got a strong suspicion that fewer and fewer comic fans will be at the show. And I'll just start the next one. We're going to be trying to sell books to people who are really into electronic arts. That's an enormous difference than in past years. And this has been just a beast of a year, and our short-term cash flow considerations are still really, really tight. I mean, there's no getting around that.
Yeah.
But I think our prospects right now, I mean, especially compared to last year, are infinitely better.
Okay. You don't want to hear what I have to say about that.
Well, but the thing is that I may put the half-full spin on it, and you may put the half-empty spin on it.
I'm good at half-empty.
Well, I'm good at half-full, all right? But that's why we've stuck together for 34 years. This year, I'm taking out Red Raven #1. Red Raven #1 is probably the rarest Marvel comic. The price that I'm asking on the Red Raven 1 is $500,000. If I sold it, the money would be used to pay off all of our bank debt at Mile High and all of our accounts payable.
It's a 9.0.
9.0, but it's way better than that.
And the page quality is
white.
And you're looking at a retail price of?
Well, 5, but not to you.
Okay.
Got to have enough to where I can actually take money home and give some to the bank. Life being what it is, the economy being what it is, it could very well end up that these books don't stay with me for another 34 years, as I would really dearly love them to do.
I've got a couple of customers, 1 or 2 people that I will mention.